Hello everyone, welcome to a video on Code Tech tutorial. Today I'm going to teach you how to use OpenShot. So if you'll mind me stumbling over words, I'm going to do this live and try to get it in one nice take. So we're looking at OpenShot Video Editor. I previously did a video about OpenShot Video Editor and kind of reviewing it, and I was maybe a little harsh because I actually kind of like it. It's not too bad. So this is just where you go to download it. It's an open source program. There's lots of things you can do to get it. You can even build it from source if you want. OpenShot.org, and I'm pretty sure it works on every OS. So just scrolling down, cross-platform, unlimited tracks, title editor, edit video, trim and slice, video effects, 3D animations, 70 plus languages, animations and keyframes, audio, waveforms, slow motion and time effects, simple user interface. Now with anything, with these many features all packed into one thing, there's always a few drawbacks. You'll have that, and I can say that most of these features, as far as I know, work pretty well. So we're going to edit a video and I'm going to walk you through how to use it. So here is OpenShot. I have launched it and I'm on a new project. So I'm going to bring in a video and do a little quick editing on it and just carefully walk through everything I do and show you what we're doing. So over here on the left side, you see properties. Here you have your project files, which you can change to other stuff. You're probably going to have it on project files most of the time though, and I'm going to have it on show all, and we have a video preview over here. We have all our timeline stuff down here. Alright, let me go find a video here. I'm just going to pull up my file explorer, go to my recordings, and basically just grab something kind of small one. Let's go with this here. It's only it's about half a gig. Here's a smaller one. I don't know what these are exactly, to be honest. So yeah, let's do this 32 megabyte one. So all you do is you just drag it in to your project files or down onto a track if you want it to be on a track right away. If you drop it here, it still goes into your project files. Okay, it looks like this is a little random 7 days to die gameplay. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but that's fine. That's fine for doing a little example. It's about 2 minutes long approximately. So as you can see here, we can click on it and we can unclick on it, and when you click on it you get the properties. Now this is where you got to be careful, because if you play with these buttons it timelines things in, and by simple user interface they maybe cut out a few steps for timelining, because for example everything's default right now, but if I go over a few seconds and then set something like, let's see, any of these locations, positions, rotations, anything, I can make it timeline to that. So for example, give it a little rotation. I don't know, it's a kind of an odd thing to do, and boom, suddenly it timelines it in linearly from right there. So at the beginning of the video it's its defaults, and as time goes on it'll rotate to there and then just stick. And I don't know what's going on the video there. I'm going to turn that way down. So this is really all about the video. To be perfectly honest, I've had mixed results with the audio coming out of OpenShot. That might be my biggest complaint, is sometimes the audio is scratchy and staticky, especially if there's effects layered and stuff. So its strong suit is definitely not in the audio. It generally works fine, but occasionally it won't. So just be aware of that. And if you crank up the volume on a track, it does also timeline it in. So one of the things that's a little tricky is if you want to affect the whole track with something like a volume increase, it doesn't let you go above 1. I think it's because it clips, but if you select down here and type it in, like just a little bit louder, 1.5, it puts it in on the timeline. So if I were over here and changing that, it would make the volume 1.5 here. But since I did it at the very, very beginning of the track, it just sticks for the whole track. So that's something to consider. So if I, for example, go to here and now I put the volume at 1, now it's going to start at 150 and then go down to 1 volume there. So a little bit of controls you can do there. And if you want to remove any of these, you can always right click and remove keyframe, and right click and remove keyframe. So that removes the keyframe from that on this clip you have selected. Now let's talk about splitting and cutting a little bit, because I think you can see all the options there and kind of probably understand how to timeline things in a little bit and how to undo them. So when you want to split something, say I want to cut, I don't know, I'm just going to pick an arbitrary location right here. You right click on this little nodule thing up here, this little blue thing, and it brings up a menu, a slice all. And then you can pick, oh yeah, it shows you the hotkeys. So you can keep both sides, keep the left side, or keep the right side. And this does exactly what you think. If I keep both sides, it keeps them both and just makes a split. But if I, for example, just want to cut out this whole section right there, I could now go here and go keep left side. So I'm going to undo those, Control Z, and Control Z again, and Control Z again. It looks like it does 3 operations to do a cut, because I had to do undo several times for that. So 1 undo, 2 undos, 3 undos. Okay, yeah, I guess it's 3 undos to undo a keep both sides. So there's a little bit of wonkiness like that I'm talking about that you might be used to, but it's kind of a small sacrifice to pay for all this free stuff that you get and the generally working thing. Now I covered a lot of Blender video editing, and those are some of my more popular videos. But Blender's not really made for video editing. It's clunky in a lot of ways. You can do a lot of cool stuff. So I've been moving towards testing out actual video editors, and they're a little bit more user-friendly than Blender. Blender's still good though. There's nothing really wrong with using Blender, other than for me the workflow kind of got to me after a while, because it was just it would get clunky after a while. But I think all videos do that to some extent too, so you'll have that. All right, what else to teach? We got the splitting, we got the cutting, we got the timelining. That's like kind of the main stuff. You can bring more stuff into your project here, or you can always drag in images and then put them over here in your timeline. But you can also go up here to title, and you can kind of make your own titles. So this is sort of an interesting feature. Like you'll see, if you click on like this gold one here, you get it, and you can edit test. But it's always a little slow for me. Hold on, I'm going to save this project, because another thing that happens is, I'm just going to name it test demo project. So another thing that happens is when you save, it saves in the same directory all these little project files. So I made a title here, and now let's see, if I go to it in my folder, wherever I saved all this stuff, which is I think in my users. Yeah, so here's an example. Here's test demo project where I saved it, and then I'll also have a test demo project assets now that goes along with it. So it creates that folder for you as you make videos and save projects, so you can load them up later. And it works just like you think. You can go to quit, and then you can reopen it and load it right back up where you left off. That all seems to work nice and seamless. Open test demo project, there we go, and we're back. So you got to make sure you click on your clip to do stuff with it. But now that we have a detail in here, we can go click on it and we can do edit on these titles. So you can do whatever you want with these, and also if you're not happy with how these turn out, you can kind of do something special. So it kind of makes them a little longer than I prefer, so I always shorten them. And I'm going to show you another little thing. If you overlap clips, it auto fades in between them, but only to an extent. So if I go like this, it now just auto fades that in. That's what that little blue thing is. See the fade happening there? It kind of lagged a little bit, but it does that with videos too. So you got to be careful, because now when I take this off, it still keeps that fade there. So there's some weird stuff like that it tries to auto do, and now it just does something, I don't know, it doesn't work right. So you got to watch out for that. And if you want to add in your own transitions, this is also a little weird, because you overlap it, then you got to delete this little blue one, and then I'm turning my phone off. Please no, every time I record. Got to remember to just power off my phone before I hit record. Okay, so I drug this transition on top of them, but now the weird thing is you can't see where you're supposed to stop it to make it fade properly into the new one. It's somewhere around here, but I can't actually tell. So it's like really annoying like that. Like, I guess I want it to be something like this. So maybe I can drag back up after that. And no, wait. that doesn't work right because it only has to be the end of this. So it'd be like that, except it still seems to overlap a tiny bit, and I can't get it to adjust perfect no matter what I do. So there we go. I had to get it to snap. So that sort of works. That might work. So now we should have this bar ripple transition, which you won't be able to see very well. There it goes. But that's how you get those to work, and that's how you line them up. They're a little weird, but they do all seem to function as long as you get this line up correctly, and you can do it. You just got to delete the default one it gives you, and then get it to line up, and then clip the video over like so. And another annoying thing is if you have this little tracker bar next to where you're working, it'll try to snap to it all the time, and sometimes you can't snap to your other position very well because you're right next to it. So you just got to move this out of the way. And as you go through and make more cuts, you can do little things and add your things in and make it flow like an actual video. So that's basically the goal here. So I don't know, maybe we're cutting out a little section there. So we'll do a keep right, and then we got a little bit more. We'll zoom back in. So as you can see, this is zoom in, this is zoom out. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. And we'll do another little fade here. Except you see this one didn't auto fade, and I don't know why. Sometimes it does the auto fade, sometimes it doesn't. I think you just got to overlap it a certain amount. And let's try this hatched one. So this makes a huge one by default. Obviously we don't want it that big. So a lot of these defaults are way too long to be reasonable, and that's sort of weird too. So now we got to drag this other one off so we can see where it's supposed to go, about right there. Get it to snap to the end and get this to snap, and boom. That's pretty good. That's about the best you can do with the transitions. And usually I try to make them about 2 seconds, but you can't even tell because I think I was just looking at the same inventory the whole time, so you can't really tell the crossfade. But there is a hatched fade. But if it was a more extreme, you would be able to tell. So there's that. There's also these effects. Now I haven't used these effects a whole lot, but we'll test one out. You basically apply it to a whole clip. So I did a keep both sides there. I'll go over here. I'll do another keep both sides. So now I've just got this clip section off, and I'm gonna drag one of these in here like this negative, and I'll just drop it on top, and boom, it makes this whole clip negative. So now when we go over that, it'll just be suddenly negative. So all these kind of work like that. You can play around with those. You just got to apply them on their own little clip. Let's see what happens if I layer them. Is something weird gonna happen? I don't even know, because now I did pixelated and negative, and I think it seems to be kind of working. Well, that's that. All right, so then you can go to the end, get a little outro. If you want to do a fade out, you can use this alpha near the end, or what you can do is right click on these files, or on these sections. So another really cool thing is if you have like a little section, let me just make another little section here somewhere, like maybe right here. We'll do a keep both sides. We'll just use the whole end section. This whole end chunk right here. I'll zoom in a little bit on it and click on it. Now another thing is you got to make sure you can accidentally multi-select, and it'll operate on both of them at once if you start adding stuff. Hope that made sense. So if I go and do something over here now, it's going to operate on both clips. So you want to make sure you only have one selected when you start doing stuff. So I got this one selected, and I'm going to right click, and you get all these options for the clip. You can copy it, you can fade it, animate, rotate, layout. Now these are all auto stuff. This is stuff you can do otherwise with these properties, but a couple that I really like to use are the fades. You can do, let's see, like an entire clip, fade in and out, fast or slow, or end of clip, fade out slow. I like to use fade in and out sometimes. If it's a clip, I want to fade in and want to fade out rather than having to do it manually. You can just go in here and go fade in and out, fade in fast, fade in slow, start. So we'll do a fade in fast, and end of clip, fade out slow, and there you go. You see it put the keyframes in there, and it'll do it. It's kind of lagging behind on the video up there. There it goes. All right, there we go. So that is it in a nutshell. If you want to get rid of those fades, you can right click and go to no fade, and they're gone. With these animations, you can do the same. You can do some animations. There's they're not that great. You usually have to do some customizing, but as you can see, it just puts some scales in there, and it's not doing it linearly. It's using what is this called? Bezier. So eases in and out. So that's kind of cool that you can get that going on. As you can see here, it's going to do it just to zoom in, and it'll stay that way for the rest of the clip. And then another thing is, if you cut after doing that thing, it'll still apply it to the ones after it. So as you can see, this one is still scaled in. You have to go in here and go to animate, no animation. So just so you're aware. So yeah, this one zooms in, but once you get to the end of this clip, and now that I reset it on this one over here, it should zoom back out. Yeah, it's back out. Okay. And we could even do something like this. We can make it blur into it, which is a weird transition, but you know, just for example. So it was zoomed in, and then it's going to blur back to the full one. So you can do all sorts of stuff like that. Play around with these different effects and get different transitions. There's just a lot to do here, a lot you can play around with, and the interface is pretty quick. Once you get used to the few oddities here and there, it's fine. I will also say, let's see, let me go back to project files here. You can move all these little windows around and customize this how you like. There is some options up here for views, and you can play around with those. I'm just using the simple view, but you can go to like advanced view, and you've got a different sort of setup where your project files are here and your effects are here. So that's the thing. I'm going to go back to simple. Okay, simple view. Where's the side thing? Show all. Okay, show all is what I was doing. Okay, so there's different tracks, and of course they're layered as you think. Things on top will show, things underneath will show only if the things above are alphaed out. Yeah, you can bring audio in here. I wouldn't recommend this as your main audio mixing. Like I've said, when audio gets mixed in this, for some reason it comes out a little staticky. If you don't do anything to it and just leave it alone, it's usually fine. But once you put some edits on it, things get a little weird. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know if you have the same experience. So I think that about covers it. When you're ready to go and done, you just hit this record button up here. I don't know why it's a record button. It's actually an export video, but it looks like a record button. So you just hit the button, you got your file name, you tell it where you want it to go. I usually go to this rendered folder on a different drive. And here you got all your stuff. You see I got 1080 at 60 frames per second. Pretty standard here for me, but there's a lot of other options if you want to see those or mess around with those. And you hit export, it does its thing, and it's away it goes. I've been able to do videos that were like an hour or two long at the most, but I once tried to render a 6-hour video and it didn't work. So just FYI, it took me a whole day, and when it got to the end, it seemed to have froze. So a 6-hour video didn't get handled too well. I had to eventually just crash it and lose the project. Well, I had to abandon the project because there was just no way that video was going to finish rendering. But it seems to do fine with smaller ones, and up to a couple hours. And what else is there to say? Let me know if you have questions down below. I will try to answer them. I guess I'll show you this animated title thing. So you can also make animated titles, which it uses Blender for. Yeah, I'll say a few last things before I end this. And these are hit and miss. So it renders these if you want to use them. It's like a pre-made project where it just renders them with Blender for your project, and you have to have Blender installed. These are hit and miss. Some of them work, some of them don't. They might be version dependent on Blender. I would honestly say don't expect these to work. If you get one to work, then congratulations, but most likely they are just going to freeze. I think it's just a couple of them work, and the other ones don't. So I just kind of gave up on those because they were getting too clunky, and I had an output error. I think it didn't see Blender or something. Another cool thing is when you're doing these titles, if you have Krita installed, you can go to one of these and you can go to Use Advanced Editor. And when you click Use Advanced Editor, it's going to launch Krita with this project, and you can make edits with Krita. So that's kind of a nice little integration there. It's still launching here, but eventually it'll come up. There it is. It's on my other monitor. And there it is. So you can do stuff here and whatever you want. I'm just going to do a few just various random arbitrary things just to show you that it works. I don't know, let's get this little spray paint, get some orange, and oh, okay, we just painted that in there. make a box down here. I don't know why. All right. So the point is now when I hit save and close Krita, this title is going to update with what I did there in Krita. So that's super cool. And you can hit save and it just comes in your project and you can use it. You just drag it in. It's taking a moment, it's lagging a little. There we go. And you can just drag it in. So we'll have that randomly there. I'm going to make it smaller. And then I'm going to go fade, entire clip, fade in and out slow. So that's one way to just kind of, I don't know what I'm saying in this video, but that's wait a minute, that didn't work too well. Well, no fade. Fade, entire clip in and out slow. Yeah. There we go. I think I only did in or something. All right. Now that just snapped in. That's supposed to be a fade. So I don't know what happened there. See, that's kind of another glitch. There's just weird little random glitches like that. Entire clip, fade in and out slow. So it should fade in and then fade out, right? That's what you would think. There it's fading in, but when it was smaller, it wasn't. So I don't know. There's just some weird stuff like that you kind of got to get used to, and you just got to test it out and make sure it's actually going to do what you think it's going to do. But beyond that, it works pretty great. You can get your videos edited and get some fine stuff in there that you prefer, and do a little bit of production, add a little bit of production value. I should really do this more. Yeah, I don't consider myself a video editor. I just do it out of necessity. So I like it to be easy, and I don't like it to be too much overhead, and OpenShot's kind of nice for that because it's not like a professional video editor, but you can get some basic production value without having to gain like a major understanding of production. So that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully this answered your questions about OpenShot and maybe showed you a lot of what it can do here and how to do it. Hope you enjoyed this walkthrough and this I guess it's sort of an updated review on OpenShot. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more tutorials or just more of me in general, because it's just me here. This is my channel. Thank you for the support. Peace out.